Yo guys, what is going on? So today, do I have a treat for you, dude? We got the iPhone 3GS in the house, and we're going to just kind of look over it and see how it holds up in 2018. We're just going to revisit it. This is not a still worth it video or anything. You should not be buying this phone as a daily driver in 2018. But I don't want to discredit the fact that this phone was such a huge stepping stone for iPhones in general. So I do just want to, look over and see how it is. Now, I want to answer a quick question that I always get. And yes, I do actually do speed. Dude, literally, I'm sick and tired of you. I'm sick and tired of this. Like, people come here to watch a video, okay? People come here to watch a video. Dude, that literally has nothing to do. Dude, I'm telling you.
You
keep talking. Please listen, okay? The fact is,
let me be in the video.
You can't say that.
What?
Okay, guys, I don't want you guys worrying about that. That's my problem. It's not your guys' problem. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I actually do solve Rubik's Cubes, and I'm working on a 5x5 right now. I know how to solve a 2x2, 3x3, 4x4. I know for the most part. I still kind of have to reference some stuff here and there. But switching back to the 3GS, I'm all over the place today. The one thing that actually shocked me as soon as I busted open was the lock screen and how it's still the slide to unlock. Now, you can enable a passcode, but it's super cool. Like, I'm actually surprised by how fast and fluid this whole entire OS is. Now, before I even go any further, the body of this is still actually fairly decent. It's all plastic. So I'm not going to say like it's the best like body at all or anything like that. But I actually kind of like how the whole body is just curved. And what's super amazing is that this phone came out in 2009, and the model that I have, actually like every single thing works on this phone. The headphone jack, the cameras, the buttons, everything works. I did have to pay a little extra for it, but you know what? I had to get it for you guys. But I'm actually surprised by how the build quality is still pretty decent. But it's actually running iOS 6.1.6. This OS is so optimized for the iPhone 3GS. Like, I'm so surprised by how fluid the whole entire OS is. And one thing that actually surprised me was multitasking. So you know how like the regular multitasking is like the cards and stuff? Well, the multitasking for this is on the bottom. And what surprised me even more than that is if you go on the left, it's actually a way to control your music and the sound of the whole entire iPhone. So the 3GS on 6.1.6 does not have a control center. So it's super weird how Apple actually started off with having that into multitasking. And at first I was like, dude, how the heck do I like exit out of multitasking these apps? Like, does it do it by itself or whatever? And what actually is the case is you have to hold it down and you have to click the subtract button up top. So I didn't know that at first, but now I'm actually surprised by like, that's actually pretty smart on Apple's behalf. And like I said, overall performance is pretty decent, but the funny thing is that this thing has a gigabyte of RAM. It's like 256 megabytes of RAM. I'm pretty sure my TI-84 calculator has more RAM than that, but I don't want to discredit this phone. Like, it handles multitasking pretty decent still. Now, if this was running iOS 11, then this phone probably wouldn't even be able to turn on. But the fact that it's running, an iOS, back when Apple really like cared about their older devices. You have to remember this because at the time of this release, there were only 3 iPhones. The first one, the 3G, and the 3GS. But the fact that the OS was optimized for it isn't necessarily a good thing either, because the updates ended at 6.1.6, like I said. And the problem with that is that a lot of apps in the App Store are unsupported with iOS 6, which it kind of makes sense, but I didn't realize how big of a deal that was. Like, literally every single app I went to download was unsupported. So that's including Gboard, Fruit Ninja, Google Chrome, Snapchat, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well, Google Drive, Google Photo, all those Google apps. They all support, I think, iOS 8 or newer, or it might be iOS 9, I don't really remember. So those apps aren't being downloaded on these phones, which I understand kind of makes sense a little bit. But funny enough, the only game that worked on this phone was Temple Run, and I was able to download it, and it works 100%. Now, OGs of the channel will remember that I used to do the Temple Run test on some of my videos, so it's kind of ironic that the only game I was able to download was Temple Run to test on this phone. It's kind of crazy, dude. It's a small world, And surprisingly, playing Temple Run isn't that bad at all. Like, it's completely 100% playable. I was actually playing it quite a bit when I downloaded just to see it, but then I kind of got hooked on it again. There are maybe a few glitch frames here and there, and don't get it twisted, like, I'm not saying this game is the most intense game ever or anything like that, but the fact that this game just plays on this phone, that's like almost, it's gonna be 9 years old this year, it's gonna be 10 years old next year, almost a decade old phone, that's pretty surprising to me. Now, I might be hyping it up too much. I mean, I won't trade my 7 Plus for this phone. The way I can boil it down is like the OS of this thing is just blazing fast for how old this phone is. Now, one thing that this phone is missing is a front camera. This was the phone right before the 4. This was basically the last iPhone without a front camera. The back camera is 3 megapixels, which actually, it takes a long time to even get into the camera, but once you're in, you have 2 choices. You can get into the camera or the video camera. And now you have some options up here, which is not even an options, it's just an option, which is the grid turning on and off. And here's a photo I took earlier, and you can see that it's pretty bad. Like, I won't like lie, it's like very bad. I tested it, and I took the same photo on my iPhone 7 Plus, and once you zoom in, I didn't even think this was a good photo on my 7 Plus, but comparing it to the 3GS, you can see how much of a difference it is. And then I was like, you know what, I kind of want to see, because I thought my front camera on this one was better than the back camera on this, and I was completely right. I kind of messed it up a little bit, but you can even see that, I mean, I would rather have this camera, which is the front camera of my phone, than the back camera of this one. And I'm not taking a knock on the 3GS, I'm just kind of showing you how far technologies came. The battery on my camera keeps dying, so I had to change it again. So because there's no front camera, there's no FaceTime either. A lot of those other like Apple exclusive things are gone in this, but they still retained iMessage on here, so you're still able to, send back and forth iMessages. So that's kind of cool. I don't have a SIM card in here, so I can't even send anything. And another thing, because I don't want you guys being nostalgic, the status bar. Remember when it used to look like this? I used to have, surprisingly enough, I used to have a 3G, I think, and the backlight stopped working, so I don't even know how this happened, but I could only see the phone when I was like under direct sunlight. So you remember like the old Game Boy Advances? Literally, like, I do that same thing, go under a light and use it, because at the time I was only like 13 or 14. I couldn't afford like to get a regular 3G, so I found that one on Craigslist or something like that. Dude, I was scheming back in the day, dude. It was so weird. And this has nothing to do with it. Battery life is also actually, I'm surprised, fairly decent. I've been testing this phone for like, I would say about a good hour, and the battery life hasn't even deteriorated that much. I wasn't able to find a way to turn on the battery life percentage. I know there's a way, but I just couldn't find it. So, I mean, if you guys know, then leave it down in the comment section below. But now I want to say this was one of the most influential iPhones ever, but it really wasn't. I think the next iPhone that was up on the list, the iPhone 4, really knocked it out of the park, because not only did it bring a front camera, but it also brought the glass back and the overall shape design that like completely changed. I think the iPhone 4 is one of those iPhones that is referenced throughout the rest of Apple's history with iPhones. I mean, even the newest iPhone, iPhone 8 and iPhone 10, those all have a glass back, and this was the first iPhone to have a glass back. So, I mean, you can just go on and on. But again, I don't want to discredit the 3GS. The 3GS was the OG, retained a lot, surprisingly. Like I said, I'm surprised the fact that Apple actually left this phone off on a good foot. Apple really hasn't really been on the good side recently of software updates and stuff like that, so I do just want to test the speaker out real quick. It has one speaker to the left. The other side, I don't even know what that is. I think it's just a placeholder. So if we go on to soundcloud.com/simplealpaca and we listen to my own music, the new song Izzy, it's pretty dope actually. I actually wasn't about to release it because like, I'm actually genuinely surprised by how loud that is. I wasn't expecting it to be that loud, but hey, we learned something new every day. And another thing I just realized was in multitasking, look how cute the animation is. Like, it just like busts out of nowhere. And when you switch in between apps, it like goes out from behind it. Like, I actually like that a lot. So I'm super glad I was able to check this phone out again. And it's kind of weird that I actually own one now. Like, I don't know, should I keep it? Is the price going to be like exponentially greater now because like it's becoming really old? Because this one is actually still in very, very good condition. It has a clean, it's the 8GB one, it's AT&T. So yeah, let me know if I should keep it or if I should just throw it in the trash. Just kidding, I'm not gonna throw it in the trash. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want me to go back even further and get a 3G or the first iPhone that came out, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And like this video and I'll definitely do more. I'm doing more of these videos, but I'm doing more like current phones, maybe like a year or two old. This one was a throwback though. And let me know if you like this video as well. That will mean so much. And also another thing in the comment section, let me know what else I should review. That would mean so much. A lot of you guys are the ones who tell me to go get these things and then I actually get them because you guys told me that, because like I just want to go get them. And guys, that's where I'm going to end it off. I'm about to eat some food, but more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.